My name is Eric Cosner, and today I'm going to be showing you my camera rig that I have built and perfected. This is the Ronin S2. It's really an amazing gimbal. It holds a lot of weight. And so what I have on top of that is I have a Canon R5 body using a 16 to 35 millimeter 2.8 ultra wide angle lens. It's really a great lens because it has pretty good low light performance. Thing is though, the Canon R5 actually doesn't mount directly to EF lenses, so you have to essentially use an adapter. So I have the EF mount adapter that allows me to put in the variable ND, so I can actually darken my shot. This works out really well on the gimbal. Initially, I had gotten just the standard RS2. When I wanted to zoom my lens, I had to reach up and I would bump the thing. It was messing up the shots and I wasn't able to fully use it. So I started looking at the combo pack and I was like, I really would like to have the RavenEye wireless transmission system. I think that would be sweet. Also, it comes with a phone holder, so you can put your phone on there and watch what the RavenEye is doing and use the active track and all that good stuff. So that's another cool feature. And then it also came with the focus motor. It can actually, believe it or not, be used to zoom your lens. I no longer have to mess up my shot, and I'm able to use it. The microphone doesn't pick it up. I'm able to zoom in quickly and zoom back out by using the dial down here on the grip on the RS2. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be showing you today. I'm going to be going over with you the steps to set it up and get it calibrated. And I'll show you a few other things with my camera rig in case you're interested in building something similar to this. Let's get into it. This is our focus motor, which we're going to be using for zoom. We have our various quick release plates. This is the taller quick release plate, and you'll notice that it actually has 2 screw holes in it. So that's the one you're going to need for the rod mount, which will be right here. This bolts on. I will warn you not to over tighten these. You will strip them out. Fortunately, however, there are screw holes on the opposite side, so if you do over tighten them, you can use those as a backup like I did. So just tighten them down. After that, you want to put the rod in. And for my lens, it works just about right here, but you may have to play around with it. After this point, what I do typically is mount it onto the bottom of the camera. And then it's pretty easy to just put your focus motor on. But before I put the focus motor on, I'm going to put on the strap. So this is called the focus motor strap. And it'll come longer than what you need. And basically you just thread it around to be in the middle of either your focus ring or your zoom ring if you're doing zoom like I am. And then you're going to want to get it to be pretty much straight. So yeah, just like that. So that it's going to turn that once you put the wheel or the focus motor, zoom motor on here. So I'm just going to slide it down. You can see right there, it goes right into place. And then I just sort of tighten this on like so. I have a pretty large lens here, and what I was finding is that this lens, it would come loose from the gear here. And the reason that is just because of the torque on this bottom area on this screw was too much. Even no matter how tight you tighten this down, it's eventually going to come loose. So in order to solve that, what you end up doing is you use the lower base plate and you insert this in the lower base plate, lock it in place, and then you use this other strap out here, and basically you thread this strap through this mechanism here. This is actually upside down. And then this will go on to the bottom part of your lens, like so. And then there's an additional screw that you put in here. Make sure that's tight. And then once you have that, then you can wrap this around. Now, this is the focus part of my lens. And again, I'm using this motor for zooming. So I don't really care when I'm on the gimbal to manually focus. I'll use the automatic focus. So I'm just going to strap this right around the focus area. Tighten it up like so. I actually move it a little bit towards the front, as far to the front as I can get it. And then once you get that tight, there's this Velcros just down onto here like so. Just like that. So now I have this holding the front of my lens so that the gear will stay connected to the lens gear strap. Okay, so now really all we have to do is mount the camera and release plate assembly to the gimbal, and it essentially just slides in from the front. Just like so. And I'm not going to balance it quite yet. Okay, so the RS2 has 3 USB-C ports. This bottom one is actually for the RavenEye, the middle one is for the Focus Motor, and the top one will connect directly into the R5 camera. And I have essentially threaded this wire over to here, and it's plugged in directly to the Focus Motor. And then this wire up top, which I made, is another USB-C. I actually put a 90 in here due to the flippy screen, so that I can utilize the flip screen when in selfie mode. And I'll have a link to that down in the description. And then it goes over top and plugs into this top port. It's easy to remember. The top one is for the camera, the middle one is for the Focus Motor, and then the lower one is for the RavenEye, which is down at the bottom. One of the cool things about the RS2 is it has these little locks, so you can unlock one of the axes and then just slide it back down to lock, and then it'll find its way into place just by turning it. There's different places that it does lock at. So like this is for when it's in your carrying case, and then this is for more like when it's just freestanding like it is right now. And there's basically 3 locks on each of the 3 axes. One of the things that I really love about the gimbal is the fact that it can hold a microphone directly on the gimbal. So this is a Video Mic Pro, and it's directional. You know, it moves with the camera, and it just makes sense for it to be on the camera pointing the same direction as the lens. Typically, I like to run this wire up behind the microphone that controls the camera, and then I plug in the microphone right here. And so there is one more cable, and this is another one that I made myself. This is a 90 mini HDMI cable. This is for the RavenEye. And then the only way for me to get this to work is I had to buy a cable that went to the full-size HDMI, but the RavenEye requires mini HDMI. So in order for me to make it so that I could see the flippy screen like this, I had to set it up in this configuration. So I plug this in right here. And then I sort of thread it through underneath the camera. Comes out right here. Then you just plug it in to the RavenEye. You can see, really, as far as like the R5 is concerned, you know, we're still able to see what's going on here. Focus Motor does obstruct it just a little bit. If it's really a problem, then you could, you know, of course, use the RavenEye as a secondary monitor. But yeah, I'll put links down in the description for all the cabling and everything else that you see here. Okay, so just a quick word on balancing. There's actually 4 adjustments for balancing. This is one here that moves the camera up and down. There's also a roll, tilt, and pan, and each of those have locks. So basically you just unlock those and you feel which, so it's going to want to fall forward on me. So essentially I unlock down here, and there's this little thing I can roll it back. This is pretty much already balanced for the most part. So then I'll relock that with my thumb, and you can see this is pretty much staying where it needs to stay. And then I'm going to do the one down here in front of it. So I'm going to unlock this one. So this is your roll axis, and it's pretty much already balanced, but you would just loosen that. And then at the very bottom, the way you balance the bottom one is by leaning it up on two legs and then making sure that it will stay in the position wherever you put it. So once it's balanced, really all you have to do is power it on by holding the power button. So you'll first be presented with this menu. Swipe up from the bottom and look for dial functions, and be sure to select focus motor. That will tie the dial on the front of the grip to the focus motor. Then go back out of there, swipe down, and then swipe from the right, and then scroll up a little bit and go to focus motor endpoints. Now there is an automatic calibration. I've found that manual endpoints just work better for me. So I just went ahead and cleared my existing ones by hitting disable endpoint. So what you want to do is first find the point on your lens where it is beginning to put some strain on your lens and back out just a little bit from that. And then you'll hit your start point. That will set your start point. Then zoom your lens in the opposite direction until it once again starts putting just a little bit of strain on your lens. Back up just a little bit and then set your end point. That will make it so that whenever you're zooming in and out, the motor will stop at the exact position without putting any strain on your camera or lens. So this thing really is quite an amazing setup. I really love it, and I've been using it quite a lot. I just love the ability to get that smooth cinematic shot while at the same time being able to zoom the lens. The other thing that's kind of neat is you can actually use the tripod on the bottom as an extra handle to give you a little bit of extra leverage. You can click the trigger 3 times, and then you have sort of a selfie version, and you're able to zoom that way just the same, and you can talk to the camera just like this and zoom in on yourself. And then by clicking the trigger just 2 more times, the camera returns to its existing position. You can flip the little screen around flat again. All right, well, if you have any questions, feel free to reach me down in the comments. To try to answer every question that I get asked down in the comments. I've really had a lot of fun putting this together. This has been on my bucket list for a while now. Been struggling filming outdoors. It's kind of noisy out here and everything, but I like being outside. Also, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and oh yeah, and you may want to subscribe because I am planning on doing more of these. Especially I want to go over the RavenEye, the active track, and a few other things that I've run into along the way. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you in the next one.